the Municipal Auditorium. It's situated in a predominantly Black neighborhood.
Black girl, don't lie to me. Tell me, where did you sleep last night? In the pines where the sun don't shine, I'll shiver the whole night through.
Here is this place that's specifically saying who wasn't allowed to be here.
Well, my love was a hard-working man, about a mile and a half from here. His head was found in a driving wheel, and his body's never been found. Oh, black girl, where will you go? I'll go where the cold winds blow.
Being able to be in this space is a reclamation of that.
My name is Sean Ardoin, four-time Grammy-nominated Creole rock and soul artist from Lake Charles, Louisiana, and a lifetime student of Creole heritage. I'm on a journey to explore the ways our music and traditions have influenced global culture. Come along for the ride on Amplify, Louisiana. Northern Louisiana has its own distinct mix of regional taste and unique history. Often overlooked with respect to music, the area has given us some of today's most prolific artists. And in the early days of radio, it was home to a little show called the Louisiana Hayride, which was the proving ground for icons like Johnny Cash and a young up-and-comer who went by the name of Elvis Presley. When you hear Elvis has left the building, it's this building, the Shreveport Municipal Auditorium, where those words were first spoken. It's right here on this stage where country, blues, and the roots of rock and roll were beamed around the world on a weekly basis on one of the most popular radio programs of its time. You can't really explore musical heritage in the area without soaking in a bit of the history here. So I thought I'd check it out myself, and lucky for me, I was able to talk my friend and Shreveport native AJ Haynes into stepping up on the stage and letting me hear the hallowed halls for myself.
In the Pines was made popular by Lead Belly, and even more popular by Nirvana, Kurt Cobain's interpretation. And so what I wanted to bring to the song with my experience was the gravity of it.
Black girl, don't lie.
Just in those very simple lines.
Tell me, where did you sleep?
Where did you sleep last night? And it's very layered in thinking about what it is like to move through the world as a Black woman in this time. People tend to view Louisiana as a fixed point instead of a map of cultures. What is that thread in blues music? That thread is the human condition. And how is it able to speak to it really profoundly with simplicity? The connection with that song is the land. What I interpret this as is, are you okay? You know, do you need anything? Where did you sleep last night? In the pines where the sun don't shine.
I'll shiver the whole night through.
Shivering the whole night through, someone has been displaced. That's truly an American story. That dynamic and that dialogue is built in. How incredible that me here in 2023 find so much resonance with that song.
I'll shiver the whole night through.
And what I love about being in Louisiana is that we grapple with these complicated things in real time. That takes integrating different understanding so that people hear a little bit of themselves.
Shine on me.
Leadbelly was an innovator in that he had influences from like Irish folk songs, from Mexican folk songs. He was bringing his experience to it. And he was a very refined man. And the way that he was portrayed was like barefoot and like not educated. He's like, okay, well, I'm gonna get this bag and then go buy my Cadillac and kick it in Shreveport. Whatever you think, that's fine, because he had an unwavering sensibility about who he was.
Shine on me.
And with that, gave him this dynamic ability to take from different cultures and synthesize, which is very Louisiana.
Do you feel any kind of pressure or drive to, continue that?
I do feel a responsibility, and not a weight, to continue the oral traditions of these different lineages: blues, gospel, rock and roll, R&B.
Let it shine on me.
We have a unique state in that we party, enjoy ourselves, eat, go to festivals with people who we are definitely diametrically opposed to on so many levels. But in those instances, because of this rich culture and this rich heritage, we get along in a way that people wouldn't even imagine possible.
So I think there's a way that different cultures translate to each other. And that can be through food, through music, through dance. This is the epicenter. These are the portals, places of passage. There are ways in which coming from Louisiana gives you a very unique perspective of the world. One of my favorite places is Orlando's. You
So
don't even
this
have
is
to
my face.
question.
Can you tell what my face is saying?
Do you want to go to Orlando's?
That's what I want to. That's what my face is saying. Yes, I want to go.
Let's go.
All right, y'all, we gotta go. We gotta go to
I
Orlando's.
want some stuff.
Peace.
Thanks.
I'm not the type to turn away from a good recommendation when it comes to food, especially when a place is considered one of the best in the region. And the fact that Orlando's also happens to be the oldest African-American owned restaurant in the country, well, let's just say I pretty much had to tag along and check out their versions of some of my favorites. We'll see.
I'm a witchy, witchy, woo, woo, woo. That's a song we should write.
Let's check it out.
Oh, that's
these are
really
dangerous.
good.
We are now at a reclaimed
Yeah,
facility. My understanding, this used to be a whites-only country club type place.
yeah.
And now the oldest black restaurant in the country. It's like hallowed ground for me,
There's a whole conversation to be had around how people that are stewards of the land, whether by choice or by force, are going to have this passed down ritual of paying homage to the soil. And so I feel like because we have such a mix of cultures here, it's something that quickly translates. Time out. We just gotta try the boudin ball. 1, 2, 3, go. Actually, no, that's hitting.
I am not mad at this.
This is as good as my grandma's gumbo.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. With the boudin, and you talk about, if you're going back further, about how, the enslaved would cook. Oxtail was
love
the
oxtail.
food of the poor people. We wouldn't get the prime cuts.
Really?
They only became expensive after they became a delicacy.
So you can't just get those shrimp. So I said, let me introduce you to something new.
Oh, shrimp and
Shrimp and
grits.
grits.
Ooh. This is another thing about
See, that's
Louisiana.
what I'm talking
We
about.
always give you too much food.
Always. It's called timber.
He said, that's called tender. Yep, I heard myself something like
Now,
that.
these are recipes that's been passed down 5 generations for us.
5 generations.
5 generations.
Wow. The seasoning
Come on.
in these greens is right.
That's what I'm saying.
There's correct, and then there's right.
Something I appreciate about being from here is that I understand food as medicine. So like, for example, the greens. Whenever enslaved folks were making dinners for the masters, the greens would get sent to the masters, but all the nutrients are actually in the broth.
In the water, yeah. Food feeds the soul, feeds the body. Oh, Lord. Cobbler.
Apple cobbler.
Oh my God.
And that's beignets, right?
Yeah, and beignets.
Like, boom.
Boom. There you go. Yeah.
Almost at obscenities.
Okay, here we go. It just
Oh my God.
It just melts in your mouth. It literally just melts in your mouth.
I can't tell y'all what I'm experiencing because it tells the secrets, but I
Makes
see
you
what
wanna
you did.
sing.
Makes you want to sing.
Oh. Louisiana is often called a sportsman's paradise, and in particular Cenla, or Central Louisiana. And it has tons of opportunities to interact with wildlife and enjoy the scenery.
Back in Monroe, just running through Bill undercover average Joe.
Alex Smith is a talented artist and songwriter that I've met a few times over the years. And I looked him up to get a feel for the area and to see if we could get to the bottom of why it's such a hotbed of talent.
He's a student, talking boots, good and sip, tongue devil. You cold lights, puts him on a different level. In his prime, hit his stride, boy, he's dancing and cursing. Hear the crowds gather around him, man, it must be something. Be 5'7", standing 6'5".
Louisiana country.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
There's so many amazing Louisiana artists that are here. The rhythms are different, the phrasing, the vocabulary, I mean, you name it, it's kind of got its own little flavor.
We have the sauce here. The spice that we have in our food is the same spice we have in our music. How does the land and the culture of Louisiana playing in your songwriting?
A lot. I grew up, my dad and my grandpa both play, but my grandpa plays up in North Louisiana very much just like old school, more church songs. That's had an influence because that's kind of what older country was. You know, these heartfelt lyrics over just an acoustic guitar. But a lot of it was all this imagery that we have in this state that's just beautiful, that's kind of different than other places, kind of sneaking into some lyrics.
You got to go to UL Lafayette. You got to experience Zydeco music, swamp
Totally.
pop, Cajun music. I know y'all took the trips to New Orleans for Mardi Gras.
The musicianship of all those guys, I mean, like yourself, have just been doing it forever. So it's hard to almost take that in. You get it by being around a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's
you
caught, not taught.
I want to be just fully like immersed in it because I think that's the only way you can get it to the level that you guys have it. But it definitely sneaks in little pieces here and there where I'm like, oh man, it's just all funky to me. There's not a single band in Louisiana that doesn't get you. There's not a still foot in the house anytime any of that stuff is playing, and I think that's just so different than other places. The music's responsible for that. I mean,
In Louisiana, familiarity with the song is not a prerequisite for a good time.
totally, totally. One of our favorite places is actually right across. Can you see that
I see it.
that roof that's over there?
Yeah.
That's Tunks. Man, we'd take either the jet ski, like I was kind of
Right.
talking about, or the pontoon just straight across, and that's one of the things
So I
I've been...
see a pontoon, I see a place. I mean, there's a place we need to go check out.
We can fire it up.
All over Louisiana, everywhere there's water, there are spots like this on the river.
We eat some crawfish out here and some seafood that's all kind of covered in some great sauces and stuff.
Yeah.
It's delicious. They have some good music, some good food, and so it's nice that we used to just be able to scoot right across the lake.
You know, Louisiana is so rich in culture and so rich in just traditions and stuff like that, but we're also rich in talent. Thinking about why that is, why do you think we're so abundantly blessed in that area?
The culture around here, I think, is just made for it. I think it's
Yeah.
made to start breeding talent. I mean, I don't know, you see that some other places, but not, I think, in the quantity that we get it here. The families that have just done it for generation after generation. I didn't set out to play music, but it sure set out to find me. I mean, and I think that's just out of
Yeah.
being in this. It's around here. It gets played on that stage right over here every night that you're down here.
In my family, there was not ever a family function, big or small, in which music was not being played physically. Not on the radio.
Yeah, no.
Not on, but like
You guys
physically
playing.
being played. Our music and our culture is our most natural and profitable renewable resource.
Never in a case, huh? Right? Like if it's a guitar,
That's right.
have it out
Have it
and
out.
it'll get played. It's a magnet. You get drawn over there. If you have a spirit for it, that's what I've come to realize with this. As music goes, I'm gonna be doing it whether I'm doing it or not. You know, like really pursuing it outwardly or not, I'm still gonna pick up and play a guitar. I can't help it.
Crossing over the Mississippi River Bridge, we're officially entering Baton Rouge. First, we gotta make a pit stop. No trip to Baton Rouge is complete without a visit to the spot, Tony's Seafood.
As you walk in, you can smell the seafood.
Now this is something I bet you've never seen before, a live catfish pond. The convergence of all cultures. You can get anything you want here in the capital city. Tony's is the place. This is in the heart of North Baton Rouge, and every culture is represented in this store right now. Food brings people together. Oh, yeah, one look, yes, you are reading my mind. We got all the food. Now it's time to go taste it. Woo. Y'all pray for your boy. Here we are at the unveiling. The jambalaya, mac and cheese, green beans. Yep. Yeah. Broccoli casserole. Yep. Check out this chicken. Yeah. So this is hamburger steak. Then I ain't sharing with nobody on this one. So I'm gonna do like we used to do in school. I'm gonna lick my fork and I'm gonna rub it on everything. It just tastes like home. Boudin, for the uninitiated, it's a sausage that has a whole meal on the inside of it. You got your rice, your seasonings, and your meat. Everything is great. The sides are phenomenal. You cannot go wrong here at Tony's. We went from live to clean to cook to eat, all here on a Sunday afternoon. In true Louisiana fashion, I bumped into an old friend, blues legend Kenny Neal.
How you doing, brother? How you been, man? You been
Man,
good?
I'm good, man. What you doing in here? Look, what you doing in here?
Buying some crawfish, man. I'm
Buying some
throwing a
crawfish.
big party at the Nealville tonight.
So-
I want you to come on over.
I'm there, baby. I'm there.
You got it.
Kenny Neal, y'all.
All right, man. Be cool now.
Man,
Baby P, please be good to me.
when Kenny invites you to a house party, you go.
Baby B, please be good to me.
And nothing is quite as authentic as a good old-fashioned backyard blues jam with the Neal
Say,
family.
much too young.
So plans changed, and I headed over for a quick tour and chat with the man at his home studio.
Well, you got honey. We've had everybody in here. We did tracks from Eddie Levert to Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson. Think you're gonna fool me. I played with Buddy Guy as a bass player.
Yeah.
And this is what I used to look like. I used to play it with my teeth.
Right.
And I have my face out to the public. I say you are much too young. Try and fool old king be like me.
Man, look, we in this beautiful studio, man. The wood, the vintage, the sound, the vibe, the spirits in this thing, man. So speaking of tradition, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with gospel.
Say good evening to everybody. We thank God for Brother Kenny and the family.
Gospel is the root of most American music.
We want to know, are you ready to ride today?
This is where the blues and the rhythm and the blues and the rock and roll and all of that stuff started.
All aboard! 'Cause I could hear Jesus, he's calling from the lost.
Back in the days when it was 130 degrees outside and they was out there picking the cotton and
Right.
stuff, you know, and they thought that blues was a way of music, but the gospel, they would moan and groan and get in the headlands in the evenings. So they would express themselves through music.
There's a train's coming. It's coming around the bend. Oh, yeah. Train's coming. It's coming around the bend. Jesus is, he's a conductor. Can't you hear? Hear him calling. Get on board. Get on board. Oh, yeah. You ought to get on board.
gonna get better one day. You
Right,
know?
right.
The gospel go, I went fishing one morning.
Yeah.
And I throw my hook in the water, and then something caught a hold of it, trying to get it loose.
Something caught a hold of
yeah,
it.
and I say, yeah.
Lord,
and he said, I wish Jesus would hook me like I hooked this
What?
fish.
Yeah.
Friday night, they might do the same line and say, oh, I'm looking for my baby, but she done gone and left me. You know, it's just changed the lyrics, but the spirit and the soul is there.
Here's a song I wrote called Let Life Flow, y'all. We do something.
At any point in time, did you feel like it was your legacy and your absolute responsibility to keep this thing going forward?
Just when you think you got it all figured out.
Well, you know, by leaving home, I was away in Palo Alto doing the California thing.
Life is so unpredictable, y'all.
And I come back down here and see all these great musicians.
I'm ready for you. Hope you're ready for me.
I'm running, baby. Oh, you got me running, baby.
And I said, you know what, I think I'm gonna go back and put me a studio together and start scouting some of the younger generation. I didn't want to just live my life there in Palo Alto comfortable and then feel like I just didn't really do something.
Hey, hey.
I moved back and I'm so happy that I
You
did.
got to let life flow.
What do you think makes Louisiana so special?
For Louisiana, this is the way it's been. It's so important to keep the tradition, the roots of the music, the blues going. We come together here. And the people, the black, the white, you name it. Man, we stuck together all these years. We all just got that thing about the food, the music, and the love for everybody, man. And that's something special. I always feel like I'm in a totally different country when I'm down here in Louisiana. It's different from anywhere else I've been. All the guys that play by ear, which I do too, they play by heart. It's from here. That's what we have so special.
Absolutely.
Yeah, from the heart.
So that's the kind of thing you can only experience in Louisiana. It's a little bit of everything beautiful. Good food, good spirit, and some down and dirty blues. Not much else I can say. So now we're off to our last stop. The one, the only, the Big Easy, the Crescent City, New Orleans.